Welcome back. Workers in the country may carry out a nationwide protest on August the 23rd as the NLC has declared that day as a day of national mourning. This was part of the consensus reached by members of the Central Working Committee of the Union in Lagos, where various issues bordering on recent occurrences, including the killings in Nasarawa State, were examined. The President of the Congress, Comrade Ayuba Waba, also called on electricity distribution companies to obey the court's rulings and revert to the old tariffs.
CWC have extended their full support to the workers of Nasarawa, and that the action that they have taken is legitimate, and therefore this unwarranted provocation by the police, including opening of fire at these defenseless workers who are very peaceful, is unwarranted, and therefore is a new attempt to try to silence workers. And therefore workers have decided, through the instrumentality of this CWC, not only to condemn this act in totality, but that workers across the country will actually wake up to support their colleagues in Nasarawa, and that also those two lives are very sacrosanct. And therefore, the 23rd of August have been set aside as a national day of mourning to mourn these workers and also to protest this serial attack on workers' rights, including the attempt by Imo State government to try to reduce the 5-day work a week, 8-hourly, to 3-day work. And this course, the NAREC should comply fully with the order of the courts, because we must be seen to be respecting the rule of law. And therefore, if citizens and consumers have waited this long to get the outcome of a court of competence, it will also be expected that the speed that was used to implement the tariff should be the same speed that will be also used to reverse it.
Well, secondary school teachers in Bayelsa State, South Nigeria, have taken to the streets to protest over the non-payment of their salaries by the state government for 7 months. The teachers who blocked major roads in the state capital, Yenagoa, claimed that while other workers in the state have received at least half-month payment 3 times, they've received nothing. They also rejected the government's proposition to give them half pay for this month on Wednesday, insisting that the government must pay them as other workers are being paid. The Minister of Environment, Mrs. Amina Mohammed, has stressed the need to continually sensitize Nigerians on the benefits of genetically modified organisms. The minister, who was speaking at a meeting in Abuja, says this was necessary following recent concerns raised by some Nigerians on the adoption of the technology. She pledges that the government will continue to invest in capacity building for key players before coming up with a final position on it.
Is pursuing, of course, the diversification of the economy, and we're about now to see the rollout of the agriculture strategy for this. And that's going to be about crops. It's going to be about our food chain, and that food chain is going to be bolstered and made better for us as Nigerians using science. And I think what we need to do is to explain that better and the role of genetically modified organisms in that, which have been seen to be actually quite productive. We've had many, many successes in Nigeria, whether it's with cassava or as a drought-resistant crops, pest-resistant crops. So I think what we need to do is have a thorough discussion, communicate better, and allay the fears of Nigerians that things are happening here that shouldn't be. We're about protecting our Nigerians and our soil and our whole country.
The Osun State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has destroyed about 21.4 hectares of cannabis sativa located at the Onikete Farm settlement in Ishokon local government area of the state. The state commandant, Mrs. Sylvia Eguwoke, who spoke to Channels Television shortly after the operation in her office, said that the command was alerted about the farm settlement by residents in a nearby village. Although the commandant confirmed that no arrest has been made, he made it clear that landowners who lease their farms to people for the purpose of planting cannabis will be made to face the wrath of the law as well.
When this kind of thing is harvested and it comes back into the society will experience danger. Danger in the sense that for most of the heinous crime, you need to boost yourself with drug. We're talking of kidnapping, talking of armed robbery. So the best thing is to stop it while it has not yet gone into the society. To them it's an investment, but to us and the good people of Osun and the government, it's a canker worm and it's a killer, and we do not need it in this state. This farm initially was meant for cocoa plantation. You need to go there and see how they just destroy the whole cocoa. They cut it down and they are now using it in planting cannabis sativa.
Well, staying with issues concerning the environment, but away from drug-related offences, in a bid to achieve a green and environmentally friendly atmosphere and estate and to reduce the impact of flood, the Cross River State Government has commenced the planting of 5,000 more trees across the state capital, Calabar. The State's Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Mr. Asu Okang, stated this during the flag-off of the tree planting exercise.
Has continually and repeatedly said that environmental sustainability is key to this administration. It is therefore important that all we need to do is to support His Excellency's vision to ensure that, Cross River State is ranked as the most environmentally friendly state in Nigeria, if not sub-Saharan Africa. In the next few years, we expect that you will have a forest regained in this area. So you find clear canopies across both ways. That's why we are planting both ways. If you notice, every youth is planting his own tree. And so, of course, everybody is taking note of where his or her tree is. It is also important that every youth who has planted a tree today comes back, once in a while to look at how his or her tree is faring. It has become an issue of ascribed competition.
What we're planting today is for tomorrow. We want a better Nigeria. We want a greener Nigeria. That is why we're planting a tree today.
The former chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Appropriation, Mr. Abdulmumin Jibrin, has written to the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Mr. John Oyegun, apologizing for the role he played in the election that returned Yakubu Dogara as the Speaker of the House of Representatives. In his letter, the lawmaker also sought to furnish the party with details of the allegations he has put before anti-graft agencies in the country against the Speaker and some other lawmakers in the House. Mr. Jibrin has called on the party to direct Speaker Yakubu Dogara to reconvene the House and step down with other accused principal officers to allow for internal and external investigations into the matter. Well, that's it on the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Jacka Rogers.